John Walker. He's adjusting his Kickstarter pledge to increase it. He went from like $120 to like $131 and then took it back down to $130. But the whole meanwhile, Kickstarter's like, don't get upset, but someone decreased their pledge and here's what happened. And I'm like, it's $1, Kickstarter. What? Calm down. But it's like, seriously, they give you this like almost condolence level email like, don't worry, you didn't do anything wrong as a content creator, but here's ways we can help. It's just like, okay, whatever. So my heart's been toyed with today. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's game number 3, as said before. And in the top left corner of the map, representing Imaginary Gaming, it's the blue Protoss Welmu.
In the bottom right, as the red Terran, it's Iaguz.
So I think there's two really big points about that game I enjoyed, right? The first one was obviously, everyone's like, oh, caster bias, whatever. But Welmu went for this really cheesy like proxy. I mean, like it's almost in base. That's how close it is, right? It got scouted, it got shut down, and honestly, when that happens, sometimes that's when the game over just, whether it's right there or that's what leads into like 10 minutes from there, and you find yourself with no army value, like that's where the game starts falling apart. But Welmu actually never fell into that, right? Like he had a good army, but he never expected that flank out of Iaguz. And that brings me to point number 2, where Iaguz setting up that back attack, I don't know if he was planning to just counterattack with another section of his units, or if he intentionally set that up expecting the attack out of Welmu, but that was fan-freaking-tastic.
Yeah. I think he expected it by the lack of the third base and just the way that Welmu was positioning himself every time he walked over that Widow Mine.
Yeah.
But to actually choose to backstab as opposed to counter, that was the like a split-second decision. That ended up working really well. I mean, I don't know if Welmu's attack would have worked if it was all on one area, but with a nice concave, probably not even then, because really, I guess had a really big army.
True enough, but I mean, again, it was like 5 or 6 real Colossus. So I mean, that is a lot of damage.
5.
5, yeah, with the fake ones.
It definitely was. And there's only like 4 Vikings in the air, so it would have had to be like a really great concave or that backstab that Iaguz did. But
I'm thinking back on it, it was more like an alligator mouth, like, like that. But I don't know. Either way, we'll see what game number 3 here has in store for us. We are back on the European server now, so Welmu lost that game. It's his choice, and he obviously selected the European server. I mean, it's worth noting that not everybody bleeds badly when it comes to lag on other servers. Some can play on other servers no problem and actually don't even mind it. So I don't know what Iaguz or Welmu's situation looks like, but at the end of the day, if you can play on your home server, always pick your home server.
Yeah. Now, Welmu scouted really, really early, and I don't know if he was worried Iaguz was going to throw in like an odd 2-racks, which I suppose is possible, if not entirely likely in a PvT. But didn't really do anything off the back of it, so I guess that's just simply what it was scouting for, any type of cheese. Unfortunately, that means he didn't really get to stay long enough to see that it was a factory being built, or that the gas was taken like over 100. Probe usually dies by then, but if you get in there early, maybe you can hide.
Just something to bring up here because I am still monitoring chat a little bit, guys. Virilos, he's a sub, and he's got a very valid point. Says you guys kind of encourage viewers to get ad block when you're playing ads 15 seconds after your intro video starts. So unfortunately, that actually is not something we do. That is just sometimes a couple of viewers will get like extended ads. So like, for example, we only ever play 2 minutes of ads, right? And the countdown timer is only ever when we do it, so we don't run it randomly during game or over when we talk. But sometimes Twitch will run that last bit of the ad 30 seconds long instead of 15 type thing. And it's really unfortunate when that happens, and we have absolutely no control over that sort of thing. But we try to be as responsible as humanly possible. So, I mean, we can't stop people from ad blocking, but I do try and rest assured and try and make sure everyone knows that we don't spam ads. We only play them when there's downtime, and we try to be responsible as possible with it. So if you are getting sections like that where you're getting too many ads and the video's cutting it off, honestly and truthfully, I would submit a report to Twitch, because that should not happen.
Yeah, blame Twitch.
Well, I'm not blaming Twitch. I'm just saying they're the only ones who can take care of it. So honestly, guys, again, we don't. It's not like we sneak in like, we tell them 2 minutes. We're gonna play 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Like, it just sometimes it's really unfortunate. So please, if you ever get caught in situations like that, before you reach for the ad block, please try reporting it, because the problem is if everybody just gets ad block, advertisers don't learn what's wrong and they'll never fix anything. And that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. But just, again, if you are getting situations like that, please report it. I encourage it.
Well, we do have 4 gateways for Blink right now. He did get a Robo, but, I mean, he could really, if he saw an opportunity, he could really commit. He placed down a proxy pylon. He is warping in stalkers right now just for this little tiny defense of a Widowmine drop, not such a big deal. But then he could really have a very powerful counter is a strong word because this is only like a single Widowmine, but basically, yeah, he's gonna clean this up and then go for it. Oh, maybe even find the medevac. Because, you know, I guess he didn't have a bunker. He has one now, but it's only one bunker. You commit to an attack with all these stalkers, and you're probably gonna bust it.
Yeah. Oh, it is a large amount of stalkers coming in the middle of the map. And Stim's not done, which makes it so hard to hold. I mean, even if you slap down like 4 or 5 extra bunkers, it's still not a guaranteed hold. I mean, Welmu's still making probes. He's not totally committed to this 100 million jillion %.
Yeah, no, he's not. It's only 4 gateways, but that can do a lot. Like, you need like a full surround repair on the one bunker, or more than one bunker, basically. And even then you might survive, but you're gonna take a lot of SCV damage. Now, Welmu's giving up, you know, his tech swap, one of the swap, but, you know, his tech to Colossus to do this.
I think there's an issue.
Weird.
He didn't blink any of those stalkers during the fight, and I know he had blink for it.
Yeah.
That's really unfortunate. I mean, it's favorable for Iaguz, but I'm sitting there just kind of with my mouth like 2, 1, cool countdown, boom. So this time around, we do see a couple of blinks coming out of Welmu. This is very critical for him. I mean, for Iaguz, obviously, as he says, he's hoping for where the bunker went down. That would have been really nice as well. But regardless, choosing to disengage, not a bad choice out of Welmu. This was a commitment that he's got to be very careful of taking. Now, if Iaguz could somehow snipe that Observer, these Widowmines become almost God mode. But Stalkers versus Widowmines, Widowmines not so good.
Yeah. Well, with how much bio he has and the fact that Comatose is about to finish, Welmu won't start thinking about, yeah, and he is, going into that robotics tech that he delayed through this attack. It's not going to push and win. He lost a couple of stalkers, you know, just going up the ramp. Lost at least 1 or 2 more right there. And there's a lot of marauders. And once there's a ton of marauders, that's kind of going to make you second guess any blink attack.
Yeah, well, I mean, not only that, but Stim's finishing up here in a moment. Medevacs are finally out. Iaguz has the tools to deal with this. Iaguz has the tools to dominate this. I also love this setup too, in case Welmu were trying to sneak around the side. Again, Blink is going to retain a lot of the stalkers, but as he pushes into this, it becomes harder and harder to keep all these alive. It's a little bit of a shame he doesn't have concussor shells. Would have been a couple more guaranteed kills almost, but regardless, Stim was the biggest upgrade he needed. Not wanted, but needed for this.
He could have tried to chase, especially as the Widowmines are covering the back area of Coda. Plus, if he chases, you're kind of covering it too, just the way that Coda, you know, moves as a map. But decides not to, just chills back at home. I think he's going to realize that Welmu's done with the attack and start to set up the drops and whatever he wants to do. Welmu gets an Immortal that looked a bit panicky because he got it while he was retreating, but that might be because of how many Immortals there are, and he thinks that he has enough time to get both an Immortal and a Colossus. Oh, and he's actually looking to go into, I think, another all-in, too. A lot of Colossus attacks with this guy. No macro game is usually what the Terran's thinking.
I am curious about how this fight's going to go down. I guess could play this a couple of different ways, right? Like, either play the drop tactics or just try and push up that ramp. There's going to be a couple of force fields, maybe a Guardian Shield, but I really like the Immortal being in the mix, too. Identifying, again, that the Marauder count was going to be an issue. But Welmu sees all this coming thanks to the Observer. Photon Overcharge pre-popped. I mean, mission kind of accomplished. I guess could just go somewhere else with this, but scans ahead to see what's waiting for him on the top of the ramp. Don't want to stim into Colossus if it's waiting for you, and
yeah, and force fields and Immortal. Yeah, I don't want that.
It's unfortunate.
Widowmines. Oh, they get a nice shot in the Zealots.
Yeah, not bad, but there's no capitalizing on this, sadly. So while they did take some health damage, the shields will regenerate.
Yeah, it's too bad. 3 Widowmines is would be quite good for the defense because he is going to need to defend. I think. Well, then again, Welmu just throws in a forge, so I don't know. I'm thinking Iaguz is thinking, okay, he's gonna like Colossus all in me again. Let's start the bunkers, let's start the Vikings, we gotta make it prepared for this. But Welmu may be calling that like thought process and changing his own up as well, being like, okay, you're gonna think I'm gonna Colossus all in you, but really I'm gonna go macro.
It's like super mind games. Super unnecessary mind games of that. Doesn't fully load up. I'm a little bit curious of this. I mean, leaving some units at home for defense is great. I mean, that's never a bad thing, but if you're going to go for like a Doom drop, typically you want to go really heavy into that Doom drop, right? So, I mean, there's 3 medevacs full of units. There's still a lot in this, but this army at home, this can deal with this.
Yeah, no problem. I think Iaguz is hoping that he's trying to secure a 3rd as the attack is not coming. He has vision on the Zelnaga. and he'll be incorrect about that one. The army's still in position to wait for the main drop. I mean, maybe Welmu is still going to all in. No, definitely not. Not with second forge. Delaying that third a long time.
Right, the third though, and this is where I get a little bit worried because, okay, he's finally producing probes. Typically, Bronze players, like, they'll reach for the third, but it's with, like, 7 probes already pre-made to transfer, right? Like, just generally speaking, it's any race, if we see a third go down, and there's only 16 probes, like, this exact saturation, it's usually a bit of a fake.
You have to be careful, though, because, like, there's always a chance it's going to be canceled, and, of course, you gotta wait for the Nexus to finish, so you don't want to have, like, 65 probes and your third starts, you know? Just stop it again, though, and Iaguz gets a Ghost Academy real quick here. Might be thinking that because Welmu hasn't gotten a third yet, he's going for very, very defensive, like 4 Colossus, then Storm really quite quickly, which wouldn't work if you were trying to get a third base as well, but only defending 2 bases, it could. I mean, that was kind of like a thing you would do on like Catalina, but that's actually not the case. Welmu's not going up to Storms quickly at all. Even it's Templar Archives down yet.
Well, I think I got the score all fixed up, but just a reminder, guys, it is the semifinals, and it is tied up 1-1, and this is game 3. So, it's not quite down to the wire. No one's really, like, on their last life yet, but this is still a pretty important game. You know, it really tips which, well, first off, which server we go to next, as it is the loser's pick, but also who takes that lead in the series.
Yeah.
Now, the Viking count is bulked up really nicely, to the point where it's getting a bit scary. Normally, this many Vikings, I would say is okay at best, because you gotta deal with Blink Stalkers, and maybe they don't even hit the Colossus. But with an EMP landing on the Colossus, if they can strip away the shields, the Vikings are almost gonna one-volley them down with these numbers.
Oh yeah, the Ghosts are always gonna be a good addition, as long as they're not, you know, taking too much money out of the rest of your army, but he's already maxed out.
I think the Ghosts are an addition, but whether they're a good, great, or bad addition comes down to the player.
That's true. That's true. It's kind of looking like I guess once the SCV pull, and okay, there we go. The SCVs are being pulled. It's gonna actually hit slightly before +2. I don't think that's ideal.
I was gonna see this too with the observer. So pulls everything out of that third. Really smart move out of Welmu. Normally, this is where we see players get split between, you know, which base do I defend? I can't do both, and you have too little at each, and you end up losing the game because of that. But he's consolidated everything: probes, stalkers, sentries. Everything here is in the main.
Oh. SCVs burn the force fields, we'll call it. The Vikings are kind of derping out, though. 2 of them go down a little
EMP on the Stalkers. There's a couple of cannons coming down, too. These are, you know, cannons are really important to dealing with the SCV pull. A lot of people really don't understand that, but, you know, running out of force fields, in fact, this is the last couple. There's about 2 more in this century. I don't know if he can keep stopping the ramp, but I don't think there's any EMPs left, so the Vikings have got to try and get away into this fight. Colossus finally getting connected to. Marauders and Marines centering back beneath this, but the Colossus are not going down faster than the Vikings are going down.
All he needs is a couple more Zealot Warpins, and in fact,
Welmu's so close to holding this.
Alive.
He's so close to locking this down. A couple more shots from this Colossus. Cannons. Oh, these cannons have been like the secret heroes of this fight. Pushes this back. Iaguz lost so many SCVs in this, lost his army. I hate SCV pulls now. GG. Welmu will take the lead in the series 2-1.